Welcome to an episode of Superkick Podcast. I'm your host, Ringside P. Before we get started, Merry Christmas or Merry Eatmas. Let's get into some topics real quick. Like I had predicted last week, we got new tag team women champions, Kaden and Katana. That was a phenomenal match, man. Like I always feels like they just have like some of the best tag team moves out there. I'm happy to see them as champions and looking forward to see what type of matches they're going to have in the future. Like I'm pretty sure I'm predicting and thinking that they're going to be facing the Kabuki Warriors pretty soon. But we've seen some stuff pop off the Kabuki Warrior, Damage Control and the Kabuki Warriors last Friday. But yeah, it's congratulations to them. It's real interesting to see what WWE is planning on doing with them next. And I'm just looking to see them just do great things with the championships and make the championships be important again for our actual tag team to have them. Next, let's talk about long title reigns. How do you guys feel about superstars or wrestlers having a title for a very long time, like years? You know, we got Gunther with the Intercontinental Championship, then held it for a very long time. Same thing with Roman Reigns, going on almost 3 years, a little over 3 years, For me, I think it adds some credibility to them being champion in the championship. You know, champions aren't just getting defeated in 6 months or in 2 pay-per-views or whatnot. It's good to see them actually like build a championship and make it seem like it's something worth having, and that a champion is what they are, actual champion, and they're kind of unstoppable. You can see that they kind of book Roman and Gunther different. I haven't really seen any weaknesses when they book Gunther as opposed to Roman, where sometimes he does like the heel tactics and he's like has like cowardly moves or whatnot, or afraid to get in the ring or face someone or whatnot, or backs down. Gunther is always, stepping up and challenging people and wants to fight people, whatnot, wants to defend his title. Like I say, he had a great match against the Miz, 2 matches actually, and he good can kind of just do everything. He kind of has like a old school wrestler feel, like the '80s or whatnot, but he does still put on a phenomenal match every time he's in the ring. It's great to see him perform. But then it also needs to, who's next for Gunther the fight? Who's the next contender for his title? And I'm kind of thinking maybe Kofi. A couple weeks ago, we had saw that Adam Pearce had wanted to talk to Kofi, Ricochet, and I believe it was Chad Gable. And I thought, well, Kofi is the only person who hasn't faced Gunther yet for a championship match. So I was thinking it's going to be Gunther. But then with the Imperium beating up Kofi cause and Jey Uso coming in to help out, now I'm thinking it might be Jey Uso, which is still, that's a good match to it as well. I don't see Jey or Kofi being Gunther anytime soon, but there will be 2 solid opponents for Gunther to face coming up in the next couple months or into leading up to WrestleMania. My cat's in here. That would be nice to see. But I'm thinking either Jey Uso or Kofi would be the next opponents for Gunther. Do you have any guys that you want to see Gunther fight next? Who do you think would probably be the best matchup for him coming up pretty soon? Also, some superstars I like to see more matches from, Bronson Reed and Ivar. The matches they've been having recently have been great. It's real cool to see 2 big dudes like that have crazy moves and put on a great match. I wish they would kind of build up the matches a little bit more, because these have been some of the better matches on Monday Night Raw recently. I think it could actually be a pay-per-view type of match, with the both of them. Like, the storyline might not be the best storyline, but the matches definitely make up for it. They both of them are really good wrestlers, and they put on a good show these last couple of matches. Them doing sentas and somersaults off the ring and moonsaults and tsunamis and all this stuff is great. I mean, in the words of Big E, man, big meaty man slapping meat is hilarious, but it's also great to see. So would you like to see more matches between these two guys? What do you think about the matches that they have been having in the recent weeks? One wrestler I feel that doesn't get enough accolades and appreciation is honestly the Miz. Like, the Miz can do just about whatever you need him to do at that moment. If you need him to be a face, he can be a face. If you need him to be a heel, he's a phenomenal heel. He's able to elevate other wrestlers and superstars when he's in the ring and make their stories better. He's great on the microphone always. He's always delivering solid promos and whatnot, especially once he gets like fed up and like passionate about stuff. He's funny, he's charismatic. He plays well off the crowd when need to be. He always has like a chip on his shoulder, and you can feel that. And even just you just take away the different title reigns that he's had, 8-time Intercontinental Championship title, WWE champion multiple times, Money in the Bank, all these different things, he's still just hands down just, phenomenal. And I don't think he gets the appreciation that he probably deserves, only because he's in an era where you have like Cena, Orton, Roman, Seth, CM Punk, all these names that might be bigger than his. Well, they are bigger than his, but his longevity, his way to just be consistent, really doesn't get injured that I remember, and he just has great fundamentals as a wrestler. He's definitely a first round Hall of Famer when that time comes for him. But I kind of wish that people would put some more respect on the Miz's name. Like I said, he can just do it all. Whenever you need him to do it, he can do it all. I prefer him as a heel. I think he's best as a heel. But no doubt, whatever role he's playing, he's good at it, and he does it well. And it's great to see where the Miz started from when he first came into WWE, or even seeing him on the Real World when he wanted to be the Miz back then, playing around back then, and see him take that idea and turn it into this reality for him. Like, what is your feelings about the Miz? Do you agree? Do you not like the Miz at all? Do you think he's a bum, or do you think he's not getting the appreciation that he deserves, or you think he's overrated? Or do you think he's underrated? You tell me your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the Miz. I think leading up, we got day one for New Year's Day for Monday Night Raw, and we're gonna have Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre again for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm still believing that Seth Rollins is going to win. I'm thinking that possibly Jey Uso might play a role in that. Not necessarily an interference, but a pop-up to probably stop some dirty tactics from Drew McIntyre. And this should hopefully lead to a Drew versus Jey Uso at the Royal Rumble for like a singles match. That's what I want to see, is a Jey versus Drew at the Royal Rumble, and to see that possibly Jey Uso beats Drew McIntyre, because he needs to beat Drew McIntyre. That's one of the people I feel like Jey Uso needs to beat to get back on that list. It's been a credible main event star. He hasn't really had any wins recently, except for Ludwig from Imperium. But that's kind of like taking him back down the ladder in a sense. And maybe that might be setting him up, like I say, for Jey Uso versus Gunther. But like I say, he's not going to win that match versus Gunther. But I think he needs a match against Drew McIntyre. And I think that might be a good setting for him at the Royal Rumble if they are going to set up Jey Uso versus Gunther at the Rumble. Either way, I feel like Jey needs something going forward. But it's to be surprising to see that Drew loses again, and what would be next for Drew. I feel like when you are a heel, you can kind of keep losing as long as your story is solid and you do enough. If you have enough heat on you, you can keep losing. It won't really matter in a sense at sometimes. Um, but I don't know. I don't feel like another Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins is needed right now. Maybe that could have been a Royal Rumble match too as well. But I know they need something big for the beginning of the year, so it does make sense. What do you feel should be next for Drew McIntyre? Do you think he would beat Seth Rollins coming up next Monday on New Year's? Do you feel like it's kind of a wrap for him and they might have to go to a different direction for Drew and maybe just have him just be like not going for the championship, but just right below that and doing stuff like that? How do you guys feel about some of the finishes lately in some of the matches? For me personally, I feel like some of the finishes haven't been as strong as they need to be. Like the matches would be pretty decent overall, but the finishes won't live up to the match. Even at that tag team championship match, the Creed versus the Judgment Day, you had a bunch of like stack wrestling and chain wrestling and moves, going back and forth for one night, kind of towards the end, and then you end with a South for Heaven, but it wasn't like dominant. It was kind of like and then that was it, and it was like I need more. I need a better finish to matches. And maybe that a little bit of that might play into like different camera angles that they use at times, and it might make the finish seem weaker than it really is, and it impacts the match in a way. But I feel like when the match finishes aren't strong or as strong as the rest of the match, it does take away from the match for me. Do you guys have any finishes to matches recently that you think was like kind of like blah, or could have been better, should have been better? Or did it change, your whole look on the match overall? Then also with mentioning David Priest, how do you guys feel about his chances of cashing in the Money in the Bank contract? When you guys think he's gonna cash it in? I kind of think possibly Rumble. That might be the best time for him to cash it in, or even day one with the match against stuff. I definitely don't see him cashing in against Roman. They haven't even built up to that, and I don't see that happening. But even if he cashes in, are the chances of him being successful at cashing it in? He's kind of been taking some losses recently, and I feel like that kind of does lead up to the possibility that him being successful. Usually, I feel like when you've seen superstars have the Money Bank contract, and they take like losses, they end up cashing it in and being successful. It hasn't really been a time where I feel like I've seen a superstar be on a hot streak and then cash it in, and then now they're champion. They kind of always like downplay them, make you kind of forget that they have it, or kind of make you just forget about the superstar in general, and then all of a sudden they just kind of pop up with it, and now they're a new champion. I think it'd be great to kind of see Damian Priest as World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know how long he would be World Heavyweight Champion, honestly. It's a total, difference between the charismatic Seth Rollins and Damian Priest. And I mean, outside of Roman being a heel champion, I don't think you're going to have two heel champions, really. So, I mean, I would kind of like to see him be champion just because I think that would just mean a lot outside of wrestling. Just because I remember being in Backlash in Puerto Rico, and it's just that energy alone between him and Bad Bunny in a match, it was great. And it's good to see superstars that represent a certain people or group of people reach a certain level, because it's like a pride feeling. So I mean, I would like to see him be champion. I just don't know if he's going to successfully be able to cash it in against anyone. But if it was to happen, I think it would be either be day one or Royal Rumble coming up pretty soon. And I think he probably need to cash it in to set up other storylines for other superstars. And it might end up being him cashing in, keeping it to Mania, only to fight Cody Rhodes and Cody versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. Because I don't want to see Cody versus Roman again this year. It might be next year or whatnot. But for this WrestleMania 40, I don't want to see Cody versus Roman. So I think it should probably be Cody versus Damian Priest. But it might not be the best, WrestleMania matchup or a match. But I mean, they had time to kind of build to something and kind of make it like special if they need to make it special. But what do you guys think about Damian Priest being World Heavyweight Champion or even successfully cashing in the Money in the Bank contract for World Heavyweight Championship? I mean, he still could cash it in for one of the lesser titles, but I don't see that either. I think he needs to cash it in for the World Heavyweight Championship. So I wanted to start a new thing based off of last week, and I had mentioned about how many superstars wear just great sneakers to ring in and fight in or whatnot. And I'm a big fan of sneakers or whatnot. Got these on, these Jordan 3s. So I'm gonna do super kicks of the week. And the first superstar that had the best kicks of the week for me last week was Kofi. And I actually have the same pair of Kofi that I had ordered and worn off sneakersapp.com. And it is these guys here, the reverse Grinches. Let me get close on here. So you had these boys that Kofi had on. Kofi Claus had on, I would say. But you see they got like snake scales in a sense. So snake like skin on them. These are Kobe's, obviously. The reverse Grinches. Red, lime green. The other ones are green. The shoe screen color, the lime green is the color of the shoe. And then the shoe screens are the color of what the shoe is now. But these are actually real comfortable. I always have to smell new shoes. But the one thing that I've learned about Kobe shoes are that they run small. So I wear normally a size 10, and these run small, and I had to get a size 11. And even at a size 11, these still are a little tight, but they fit way better than I did when I bought some Kobe that was size 10. They was too small. So let me zoom in on these for you guys. Yeah, you can see like the detail here. In the shoe. So it doesn't really feel like a mesh material. More like nylon. But I mean it is still kinda like a mesh. But when you have them on, you have them at the right size for your foot. They're really comfortable. So yeah, these are the shoes that Kofi had on last week. I don't think I'm always gonna be able to have the same shoe as the super kick of the week, but if I do, I make sure I show you guys, or even I try to put a picture up of the superstar with the shoes on. But yeah, man, reverse Grinches right here. So let's get into SmackDown topics real quick, which really wasn't much for me. We're getting into we're gonna have a Meechin versus Io Sky match. Hopefully, well, this probably be a New Year's Revolution, but I wish that probably be at like a pay-per-view too as well. But it's great to see, like I said once again, that you're seeing other women superstars get some TV time and get some attention and get some focus put on them. It should be a pretty good solid match between the both of them. I mentioned he got some good moves. He's a solid wrestler and whatnot, and I'm looking forward to see that match too. Coming up. What do you guys think about Meechin versus Io Sky coming up at a event or for the WWE Women's Championship match coming up soon? Oh, but I do think that it'll still be Io who's gonna beat Meechin, even with the help of Damage Control it won't be a clean finish for EO, but EO still is probably gonna come out on top. So we had more continuation of the U.S. title tournament. Carmelo Hayes lost against Kevin Owens, but I kind of figured that. But what does that mean for Carmelo Hayes? Coming out, does it kind of hurt his character? Is he probably gonna go back to NXT for a while? I think he might go back to NXT because it kind of, I don't know, it kind of sucks that he lost. Even though I think Kevin should have won that match, but I think I probably would have preferred it to be someone might have interfered and then allow KO to win that way. Not to hurt KO's character, but just not to kind of damage Camaro Hale's character so soon like that. Even though you kind of get like that, face with face at the end of the match shaking hands and kind of saying, "Oh man, this guy's the real deal," but he just lost, and he's new, and new guys kind of, especially when you have like that persona of he's supposed to be him and he's losing already like that. I don't know, it kind of hurts him. What do you think is next for Carmelo Hayes? Do you think we're going to see more of him on Smackdown? Or do you think he's going to kind of go back to NXT and kind of hang out there for a while before moving back up again? And then also, another outcome in the U.S. title tournament was that Bobby Lashley lost. I was thinking that Bobby Lashley was going to win only because I thought he was a heel. But it kind of goes along with one of those things where I'm not sure what they want to do with Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, for that matter. It seemed at one time they were trying to push them to be heels, but they just didn't fully commit to it, and now it seems like they're back to kind of making them faces. And maybe because the people won't allow Bobby Lashley to be a heel, he still was getting like cheers and recognition, and even at Tribute to the Troops, they did the thing for him. They, special interest for him, which is, well deserved and makes sense. But that means he can't really be a heel, And so that's why I feel like he ended up losing, because they're making him and the Street Profits be faces. And I don't know, man. I kind of wanted to see a different side of the Street Profits. A more dominant, a little more aggressive and meaner side to them. Because it seemed that that's where they were going. They were speaking about them kind of like changing like character, being a little more arrogant, a little more cocky, more ruthless or whatnot. These are all kind of like buzzwords for like heels. But to see Santos with the interference from Angel Garza and Herberto last week leads me to believe that they're going to be, that Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits are going to be faces still. But if they're going to be faces, make them be dominant then. Make them not be the Street Profits be serious. And they can still be ruthless and still be faces, or not even ruthless, but just be focused, if you want to say that word. Use that word, focus, and be dominant, like Bobby Lashley. Where there is no silliness with Bobby Lashley. He gets in there and he's serious. There's no games, there's no fun. He's out there to do business. And give me that type of attitude from the Street Profits, and maybe they can go a longer way. Because I don't want to see them split up anytime soon. I want to see them be able to do more, and maybe this can be a new page. It was supposed to be a new page, but linking them up with Bobby Lashley. But I say it just seems like it's kind of like stalled right now, and no one knows what to do with the three of them properly. So I don't know, man. What do you feel is next for the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley? Would you have preferred to see them as heels, or do you want to keep them as faces going forward? My last thing for this episode is we got a triple threat match coming up between Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles to see who's going to face Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. but I don't like any of that. I don't think it should be a 1-on-1. I think as we continue to build up Roman Reigns' dominance as a champion, make it a 4-way match. I feel the story individually between Roman and each of these guys isn't strong enough for there's a singles pay-per-view match, a premium live event match. I think it'd be a better match, and you can get more out of the match when you have the four of them all together in the ring, and then possibly off of that, you can create more from that. I think you can get some good highlights out of that. But I don't think I want to see this triple threat, and then see the winner out of that versus Roman. Even though I still think even when that match happens at New Year's Revolution, it would be Randy Orton who's going to prevail out of the three of them and still end up facing Roman at Royal Rumble. If they decide to go that route. Recently, we saw that Roman interfered with Solo versus AJ Styles, and you still see that the three of them still end up still fighting each other. AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Orton. I can only imagine that they're going to see possibly, since Roman don't want to fight, either one of them, it seems, that the Bloodline will interfere in the triple threat match coming up, and that might lead to a 4-way match, fatal 4-way at the Royal Rumble. Given also that you see we got this kind of interaction between Nick Aldis and Roman, where they kind of like some tension there, I would say. But yeah, what would you guys rather see? Would you rather see Roman versus AJ Styles, Roman versus LA Knight, Roman versus Orton at the Royal Rumble, or would you rather see a fatal 4-way for the undisputed Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble? And that's all I got so far, man. Well, Merry Christmas. Hope you guys enjoy the day, and hope you guys get what you want. Maybe you get some Yeet shirts or merchandise or whatever. And until next time, man. Adios. I'm going to say out to the dog. Woof.